Good morning. My name is Rika Levin. I'm the mayor here in Ossining. Hello. So nice to see some familiar faces and some new faces, which is great. Sorry about the parking. Can't be helped on a Saturday. Highly used library, but we're starting on time, so that's a good thing. I am going to MC the event. You'll have to bear with us a little bit. We are super excited because this is our first annual event to honor the military personnel, and it is past, present, and maybe some of you future. I'm looking around, I see a lot of young people, so hopefully also some future folks. Before I forget, because I don't stay on script very well, come on in, come on in. Nothing gets done by just happening on its own. There are a lot of people that were involved in making this happen. First of all, I want to thank, we appoint a historian every year, and our village historian is Joyce Cole, that is sitting here. So I know that at least 62 know Joyce Cole, because I believe that literally every single person spoke with her. More than 62, because 62 that we're honoring today, and I'm sure next year it will be many more than that. And that she took the time to really explain everything to each and every person. That's why she is, I think, the best historian in the state of New York. She just does a lot of programs. And it's a volunteer job, even though it's appointed, but I'm sure it doesn't feel like a volunteer, but it's really done straight from the heart. Also, the Board of Trustees, some of whom are represented. I'm proud to be on the Board of Trustees. When a program came to our attention, there are a number of different programs, different communities do different things. And really contrary to the belief that everyone in every village and town and city does this, actually very few do this. It may seem to some of you that a lot, but what we discovered is not many. So we're going to add our name to the roster of people that are doing it, not just this year, but really I'm sure the board will be approving it. Can't speak for future boards, but I'm sure it will be approved year in, year out. And so some of the trustees that are here is Dana White, who will be speaking later. She's on our board, and some of the other board members are actually doing other things today. We also have Supervisor Feldman, who's here, because the town council also unanimously participated in this, and we're going to have a bigger show. We have the village manager, Karen Diatori, and equally important, where's Jamie, who always disappears? There she is. Jamie Hoffman, who has raised her kids here and was so happy to be involved. She's our communication person. She's sort of the person that keeps me on track. She'll be yelling at me in 2 seconds for taking too long, etc., etc. But really, she and Joyce did a lot of work on the front end and back end to make everything happen today. So very happy about that. We have Captain Donahue representing the police department here as well. He'll be speaking, and Steve Felsenfeld, who's also from our Ossining vets, who will also be speaking. I think I hit mostly Reverend. I don't always introduce everybody, but there are a lot of community members here today, both because of their personal interactions here, but also because they represent the community. So we're going to get started. Just some housekeeping. We're going to run on time, even though I've probably taken more than my time. Here's what we're going to do. We think this is the right way to do. We have 62 banners that we're going to be putting up. They're going to be put up and down Croton Avenue. There's a lot of logistics, and our building department will be putting them up this week, so they're in time for Memorial Day. They will then be taken down immediately following Veterans Day, and the folks that have walked them, I guess is the right way to say it, right, Joyce? You'll keep the banner. And next year, if you want to enter the program, I believe the window for the 2025 will be opening right after Veterans Day of this year. So I always open up to folks that aren't familiar with this community, that I'm really excited to be a mayor of a community with over 30,000 people on about 3.2 square miles. It's a lot of people on 3.2 square miles. It's a very diverse community, not just now, it's been diverse since its inception. So we're very used to all of that. But the diversity also will show up when we talk about the veterans and who we're honoring and the military folks that we're honoring. And you'll see that Joyce will actually reiterate, I think, some of the nuances that are unique to Ossining that we're very proud of. So the logistics is that you'll get your banner, you see the names are up there. This is not like street naming, so you don't get to have your person near your house. It is up and down Croton, and that's going to be great because as school kids are riding in the buses, as parades go down Croton, people will get to see all of the folks that have a connection to Ossining that are being honored who are in the military. There are plenty of seats up here if you want. There's a couple over there if you need some seats. And I'm sure if you need some help, somebody will get up and give you a seat so that you're comfortable. Dana Levenberg just entered. That's our assembly person who's a resident here in Ossining. So I always talk about being so excited to be a mayor of a village, second largest village in the state of New York, with challenges and hours of joy. But what I didn't realize until early this morning, which was why I was a little late, my brother wants to visit me, he lives across the river, and he goes, what mayoral thing are you doing today? I was telling him about the program. I said, you know, what makes me sad is I would have liked to buy a banner. But I actually am an immigrant to this country. My parents were Holocaust survivors and in the military, but not in this country, and it's only for American military. And my brothers, my older brother, because you know, he has to remind me of all of my wrongdoings, that actually there are two people I should be buying banners for, so I will be buying for two of them. So when my parents were in their late teens and they were going through the Holocaust, they were saved by Americans. My father was saved by American soldiers. And he built a relationship with those two Americans that when we came to this country and we had no money left and all of that, he looked them up. And it was those two people, Ned Pollock in Livingston, New Jersey, and David Genn, who lived in Newark, New Jersey, who found an apartment for my family, a tiny little place, found furniture at a local church for them, and all that stuff, which started our life. And they remain lifelong friends. They've all passed since then. And so I'll be buying for them. So I will now, for today, say that I'm not the mayor of 30,000 people living on 3 square miles, but actually 30,000 human stories, all of whom I believe are connected to the military of this country, because it's military folks of this country, no matter what they do, whether they're bookkeepers or on the front line or medics or whatever they are, and all of their families really save the lifeblood of this country, here and abroad where Americans live and work and prosper. And so I thank all of you for your service, and I'm excited to get started and turn this over to the person who really brought, amongst others, to our attention, but who made it happen for today.
Good morning, everyone. I have a loud mouth. So good morning, everyone. This is a long time coming. The least we can do is just stare at the people that made it possible for us to walk around free every single day. So I would ask if everyone that served, please stand and be recognized. Thank you all for your unselfish sacrifice for all of us. This was an amazing campaign, spending time with the families, researching military history, realizing what they really sacrificed. For the many things that you all don't say, we thank you for what you have done for us. Also, Jamie, as the mayor has said, has been amazing help, but Pasquale, Paul, and Mike Duffy, please stand if you're in here, because the enthusiasm that these men have had to make this possible, I could not have done it. I appreciate you making this so easy. So thank you. So we will get started. I'm going to start talking. You're not here to see me. I didn't serve, but I'm happy to honor those that did. So we will start the naming. I'm going to go on.
Yeah, okay. So the way it's going to work is we're going to do like a roll call. We're going to call, there are 62, so there'll be people coming up and doing approximately 10 people at a time. Their rank, et cetera, they each have a list. We're going to start with Captain Donahue, who does have someone that he bought a banner for and participated in. He's going to do, I think it's easier, is it easier for them to go here or up there? To do to stand here on the side, maybe, and put mine up?
It'd be better if we stand aside so that it's not.
James L. Buchanan, Technician, 4th grade, United States Army. Serving 1943 to 1945, World War II, recipient of European, African, Middle Eastern Service Medal, Good Conduct Medal. Proudly honored by J. Kendall Buchanan. Samuel Buchanan, Private First Class, United States Army, serving 1942 to 1945, World War II. Good Conduct Medal, World War II Victory Medal, proudly honored by Samuel Buchanan Hanna. Carmen F. Cardinale, Corporal, United States Army, 1941 to 1945, World War II, proudly honored by Anna Cardinale Ellingson. Charles F. Carroll, Lance Corporal, United States Marine Corps, serving 1980 to 1984, proudly honored by the Ossining Boat Canoe Club. Frank James Casillas III, Sergeant, United States Army, serving 2007 to 2014, Afghanistan, Iraq, Combat Infantry Badge recipient, proudly honored by his loving wife, son, and family. Manfredo Selly, Private, United States Army, serving 1918, World War I, proudly honored by Justin Carlson and Mimi Marconi Foles. Donald Chamber, United States Navy, serving 1943 to 1946, World War II, proudly honored by the Chambers family. John L. Chambers, Sergeant, United States Army, serving 1941 to 1945 in World War II, proudly honored by Tracy and Darrell Chambers. Ronald Vincent Cranston Sr., Private First Class, United States Army, serving 1954 to 1960, proudly honored by his loving family. Richard B. Creedon, Technician, 5th grade, United States Army, serving 1963 to 1966, Vietnam War, proudly honored by the Ossining Boat Canoe Club. Justin Cusano, Corporal, United States Marine Corps, serving 2020 to present, proudly honored by Felicia Tasson Cusano. Joseph T. DeAngelis, Captain, United States Navy, serving 1965 to 1994, including in the Vietnam War, proudly honored by the DeAngelis family. John J. DeMidio Jr., Technician, 4th grade, United States Army, serving 1966 to 1968, Vietnam War, Bronze Star with V for Victory device, proudly honored by the DeMidio family.
I'm going to do it without a microphone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So just a couple little facts mentioned before Steve doesn't go. You want to take a position and you'll read off your paper. So our village, unlike most, and you think actually, I don't know, good or bad, it's unique, is we actually do have a woman being mentioned, which is very rare in a lot of these banners. People somehow have forgotten all the women that were part of the military in so many ways. And we also have several black veterans, which you've already seen, also somehow have been left out of the conversation across this country, which actually we do have a number of them. So just wanted to point that out as something that we're very proud of. Steve Kosovo, please do roll call for the next few folks.
Service Member Guido DiCiccio, ranked Technician, 4th grade, Military Branch, United States Army, service dates 1942 to 1946, World War II, awarded the Asiatic Pacific Service Medal, and is proudly honored by the DiCiccio family. Frank Drohan, ranked Sergeant, Military Branch, United States Army, service dates 1990 to 2012, in Operation Iraqi Freedom, awarded Iraqi Campaign Medal with 3 campaign stars, proudly honored by the Drohan family. Service Member Henry Edward Dewars, rank private, military branch, United States Army, service date 1865 in the Civil War. He was the Union Army 14th Regiment, United States Colored Heavy Artillery. He's proudly honored by the Star of Bethlehem Baptist Church. Service Member Kiernan J. Duffy Jr., rank captain, military branch, United States Army, service dates 1943 to 1946 in the World War II. Proudly honored by his loving family. Service Member Roland Dubois Fisher. Oh, sorry. I said Karen Duffy. Service Member Michael J. Duffy Sr., rank corporal, military branch, United States Army, service dates 1966 to 1968 in the Vietnam era war. Proudly honored by his loving family. And I personally know Mike. Service Member Roland Dubois Fisher, rank Petty Officer, second class. Military branch, United States Navy, service dates 1942 to 1944. He was killed in service. He was in World War II, and he's proudly honored by Kimberly Schiavo. Service Member Michael J. Fortini, rank Staff Sergeant, military branch, United States Army, service dates 1970 to 1992. He's awarded the Army Achievement Medal. Proudly honored by your loving family. Service Member Walter Edward Fowler, rank Sergeant, military branch, United States Army, in World War II. Proudly honored by Carola Jernigan. Service Member Robert Fritchie, military branch, United States Army, service dates 1941 to 1945. He was in World War II. Proudly honored by Bob Fritchie. Service member Andrew Ginpro, military branch, United States Navy, service dates 1944 to 1947, and he was in World War II. Proudly honored by Doreen Ginpro. Service member John J. Girolamo, rank Sergeant, military branch, United States Army, service dates 1966 to 1968, and he was in the Vietnam War. Army Commendation Medal, and he's proudly honored by Cynthia Smart. Service member Douglas Jerome Goodson, rank Specialist, 4th class, United States Army. Service dates 1966 to 1968 in the Vietnam War. Awarded Purple Heart and Combat Infantryman Badge. Proudly honored by your loving family.
I think you're next, right? So, just a couple more comments. One of which, did you all notice we have a Civil War veteran? I don't know how many villages have that, but our historian went all the way back, and I think that's great, right? We also have people who are serving currently, so we really feel strongly that it really covers the arc of our military folks who want to be involved. I did want to say that after this event, the map of where each of the banners will be posted on our village website, because we need to first hang them up, make sure everything fits right and all that, and then you're welcome, of course, to go take pictures, whatever. But it'll be up from the village hall up to Pleasantville Road. That's on both sides, so that's where we're hanging them for this year. And then next year we'll see how many we get and where we're going to do it. This is both a town and village enterprise. So just want to make sure I talk about the village all the time, but we will have a town supervisor up. But for now, an active member of our very own village is here. We saw your name up there, so happy to have you to do the roll call.
Herbert F. Hiller, United States Air Force, served from 1950 to 1954 in the Korean War. Proudly honored by Kane & Associates Real Estate. Dr. George W. Hill, rank Major, United States Army, served from 1942 to 1946 in World War II. His award was a ward surgeon. He's proudly honored by Neil and Deborah Hill. Donald F. Jones, United States Army, service dates 1953 to 1956 in the Korean War. Proudly honored by his loving family. Ralph Kennan, Sergeant, United States Army Air Corps. Served from 1942 to 1947, World War II. Proudly honored by the Kennan family. Raymond E. Kimball Jr., Staff Sergeant, United States Army. Service dates 1944 to 1951, World War II and Korean War. Was awarded the Presidential Unit Citation. Proudly honored by Annie, Anthony, Kim, and Shirley. Velma Chirac Knowles, Private First Class, United States Army, Women's Army Corps. Served from 1952 to 1954 in the Korean War. Proudly honored by your loving family. Michael Cooney, Sergeant, United States Army. Served from 1942 to 1945, World War II. Proudly honored by the Dennis family. William Scott Cruz, Specialist, United States Army. 1964 to 1970 in the Vietnam War. Good Conduct Medal. Proudly honored by his loving and grateful family. Robert Bob Lorenz, Specialist, United States Army. Served from 1969 to 1975 in the Vietnam War. Awarded National Defense Service Medal. Proudly honored by Amy DeVault. Joseph A. Marconi, United States Navy. Served from 1952 to 1956 in the Korean War. Proudly honored by Mimi, Terry, and Gina. Clifford N. Matthews, Technician, 4th grade, United States Army, 1942 to 1946. He served in World War II. He was additional information, was a Buffalo soldier. Awarded World War II Victory Medal II Bronze Star. Proudly honored by Linda A. Matthews. Alex C. McGinnigal, Technician, 5th grade, United States Army. Service dates 1943 to 1945. World War II. Awarded American Service Medal. Proudly honored by Brendan Donahue.
I realized that I assume everyone knows you, so let me read the official title. We have a lot of people who are involved in this community, and now you see how many of their family members have been involved in securing our country. So Michael Duffy, I have to get all your titles right, DPW Road Maintenance Foreman and CSEA Union Unit President. And thank you for being here today. And your family. Speaking of families, our camera guy, Jesse, is Dana White's son, and he is a grandson of a veteran. So, like I said, everybody's connected to everybody in this village, and it's really a joy. Next up is our town supervisor. Here she is, Liz Bell. I'm gonna interject while we're doing this. We are filming the event. There were many people that want to be here. Saturday morning, you know, families, all sorts of great stuff. I mean, we have over 100 people here, so we're really, really glad to see everyone. Some elderly folks who just can't make it in. So we're filming the whole thing unedited. It'll be posted on the website sometime next week for people to be able to look at and share and do whatever they want with it. So I think that'll also be helpful along with where the banners are hung as we go through and create a map for them. You're on.
Thank you, no pressure, it's live. Anyway,
I just want to thank all of the people in this room and beyond that served. I see a lot of names that just have continued to do so much for our country, or not our country, our community, day in and day out. So you know who you are. Everybody is. All right, so service member Patrick McGovern, Sergeant First Class, U.S. United States Army, 2001 to present, Afghanistan, Iraq, awarded Combat Infantry Badge, proudly honored by the McGovern family. Service member Carl A. McIver, Staff Sergeant, Military Branch, United States Air Force, service dates 1965 to 1970, in the Vietnam War, proudly honored by your loving family. Service member Howard A. Norton, Petty Officer, 2nd Class, Military Branch, United States Coast Guard, 1942 to 1945. World War II, honored by the Dennis family. All right. Service member Anthony F. Perillo, Private, United States Army, 1940 to 1943, World War II, proudly honored by John A. Perillo. Service member Raymond J. Perrin, Sergeant, United States Air Force, 1966 to 1970, Vietnam War, proudly honored by his family. Service member Solomon C. Pfeiffer, Sergeant, United States Marine Corps, 1951 to 1953, Korean War. Korean Service Medal with Bronze Star, honored by Solomon Pfeiffer Sr. family. Dominic Raguso, Corporal, United States Marine Corps, 2020 to 2024, National Defense Service Medal, Korean Defense Service Medal, proudly honored by the Raguso and Tasson families. Okay, Ronald Rainey in the United States Air Force, proudly honored by Denise Lismore. Dylan Ribby, Ensign, United States Coast Guard, 2019 to present, Afghanistan, awarded National Defense Service Medal, proudly honored by Dan and Iris Ribby. Paul again. Okay, William Bill Shearer, First Lieutenant, United States Army, 1941, 1945, World War II, missing in action, Ossining Elks Lodge, 1486. Raymond W. Schrader, Sr., Sergeant, United States Army, 1939 to 1945, World War II, proudly honored by his loving family. Clarence R. Sharrock, Sergeant, United States Army, 1942 to 1964, World War II and Korean War. Army Commendation Medal and 4 Purple Hearts. Wow. Proudly honored by the Sharrock family. Service member Corral Sharrock, Staff Sergeant, United States Army, World War II, 2 Bronze Stars, and a WW2 Victory Medal. Henry C. Sharrock, First Sergeant, United States Army, 1950 to 1976, Korean War, awarded the National Defense Service Medal, proudly honored by your
Thank you. We're on the last of the roll call, that equals 62, and to say a few words, our past historian and current trustee, Dana White.
Hi, everybody. Jeffrey R. Chirac, Sergeant First Class, United States Army, 1975 to 1997, Gulf War, Southwest Asia Service Medal with 3 Bronze Stars, proudly honored by your loving family. John Daniel Chirac, Private United States Army, 1979 to 1991, proudly honored by your loving family. Warren G.H. Chirac, Petty Officer 3rd Class, United States Navy, 1944 to 1946, World War II. Awarded the World War II Victory Ribbon, proudly honored by your loving family. Peter J. Siciliano, Lieutenant Colonel, United States Air Force, 1941 to 1978. World War II Badge of Military Merit, proudly honored by the Doyle and Zimmerman families. Louis Silvestri, Specialist, United States Army, 1961 to 1963. Vietnam era, proudly honored by the Silvestri family. Richard E. Smith, Sergeant, United States Marine Corps, Korean War, proudly honored by loving sister Velma and her children. Service member Bob Sniffen, Captain in the United States Air Force, 1970 to 1978, Vietnam War Distinguished Flying Cross, proudly honored by Chris Sniffen and family. John F. Sniffen, Technician 4th Grade, United States Army, 1941 to 1945, World War II, proudly honored by Matt Sniffen. Service member is Abram L. Speller, Corporal, United States Army, 1952 to 1953, Korean War. He was awarded the Purple Heart, proudly honored by the Speller family. Frank Valvano, Petty Officer 3rd Class, United States Navy, 1975 to 1979, proudly honored by his loving family. Danforth E. White, Commander, United States Navy. He served from 1959 to 1969. Vietnam era. He was awarded the Purple Heart. He was killed in action. Proudly honored by Dana White and Marta Turman. He was our dad.
Well, I don't know about you, but very moving to see every person. I'm sure you recognize some of your neighbors' names in here, some friends. I didn't know so much of you, the Chirac Colt. I know that the family's lived here for many, many, many years. How many years have the Chiracs lived here? 125? Yeah, generations in this community. So it's being videotaped, so you could share it with other family members who might want to look at it, etc. So we're very grateful to be able to use that technology and that people are here. We have some food. We wanted to give people time to also just sort of take it in, because it's our first one. We didn't know, how many people, if anyone would show up, or, so we're so happy to have everybody here. There's some food out there. There are the posters with all of the folks. You each should have received your own, 8.5 by 11. If you haven't, some of you may have come in late, so that you have something to take home. At the end of the event, after Veterans Day, you will get the actual banner to put up in your house, to hang, it's yours. So do whatever you would like. We cannot keep it on year-round, for those of you that wonder why, because we live in the Northeast, and the weather destroys these banners, and they actually become unsafe as drivers drive by and stuff. So we do take them down, and it's yours. And if you want to participate next year, we will be happy to have that. I am going to take just a few questions because it's our first one. If people have questions that we may not have answered, either today or via the emails that you received, et cetera, so that we can all hear them together rather than hundreds of emails. So does anybody have any questions or comments that they would like to share with us? Yes, please. If you could speak loudly, that would be great.
No problem. First, it was a wonderful presentation, and we thank everyone who was involved in putting it together. My question is, with regards to next year, if we did take our banners home and we did want them to be displayed again, what is that process?
I don't know if you could do the same banners again. Yes, you can. Okay, I'm going to give it to somebody who knows the actual answer to this.
So it would actually be recommended, if you want to rehang next year, to let DPW store it. So it can be stored safely and not let your dog or cat get to it. So it is kept well, and then we'll rehang it. Any other questions? Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you going to determine the position of the banners?
So we did have questions of people asking to be in particular order, so there's so many of us we couldn't accommodate that. So the best way we decided was by war. So we'll start with Civil War and work our way up to current, and then DPW has we made a list. It's in alphabetical order, I think, by war, the way it's going up.
So, follow-up. So does that mean that if you try again next year, it's going to be the same location?
So this is really successful. DPW, can you come up, please? We have a lot of polls, but the amount of people that want to participate, we might have to go into more streets than Crow. They're going to have to be moved around, which would be great. How beautiful will it be for us to ride through our entire village and see our service in town and see our service members. Thank you. Thank you, Supervisor. So it would be nice to go through the town and the village, and that's what we see. Pay reverence to the people that made it possible for us to be here. Yes.
I just want to say thank you for doing it. It's a great program, and I really appreciate it.
Over here.
Oh, I thought I saw a hand. Okay. Oh, more?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there an annual fee for storing it, or for putting it up, or for the village?
So I guess that's something that the board will talk about. Right now, you already paid for this year.
So it's new. We didn't know. The company that did this said we'd probably get 15 or 20, the first year. Obviously, we already have more than that, which means there's a lot more work. Storage is an issue. We didn't know what to expect. So what I'm going to tell you is this is our trial year. We're going to have them up. We're going to see how well they stand up and if there are any issues. So I'm going to answer that question in a few months. The board decides on fees related to village. Most places do not store. They give the people and they go to the next year. Oh, they do store. Oh, I thought when we saw the presentation they didn't. Okay. We saw a bunch of presentations, let's put it that way. There are 2 or 3 companies that do a lot of this. There's one that does with ads and all that, which we didn't like, so whatever. So I don't have it all in my head, but we're gonna get back on that, so you'll have to give us 2 or 3 months. We wanna see how it works out. We wanna see how much work's involved, et cetera, et cetera. We think next year will be more than the first year. That's usually the way it goes, so we already have sort of now the starting point. Anybody else? You have something to share?
Yeah. As you're leaving, this is a really big picture of your service members. So if you want me to put them up so your family can take a picture with the big version of your family member, I'd be happy to stand here until the last person leaves. The least I can do.
If we could just do the first picture with the people who did the roll call, please. So we have a picture of you with all the folks in the back, the 5 of you that did it. If we could have, also since Jamie left for personal, Karen, if you'd come up, the assemblywoman could come up. What? Oh, you're taking the picture. Okay. And also the story. Yeah, I think you need to go on your person. And then the families, if you want to take pictures. You got this? Oh, it's taking this? Oh, where was this? Oh, you're doing each person? Yeah, I'll let each person. I'll reiterate what's happening. Good? Oh, all right, so just to reiterate, it isn't a picture like a poster out there that has everybody. Each of you, it would probably be easier to start in some sort of order. If you want a picture, a big picture with your family member, you can come up. I have to tell you this, we have to be out of here at 11 o'clock. There's another organization that's using the library. But in fairness, and they have it first. In fairness to that, we are going to have to be out of here. So if you can do it quickly, only if you want to, because you have your own banners. Joyce will put up a picture of your family member, and you can have a nice big picture of the back.
I just wanted to say a little bit of thank you also, and thank you to the village, thank you to the town and all the people who were involved. This is so impressive, and it really is amazing to see how many people actually served our country and continue to serve, and I'm just very grateful to all the families for coming out today. Thank you.
Okay, let's like, I'll remind you to write over